Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be what's in my makeup bag video. Yay! I know you guys have been waiting a while for this video, and so I finally got around to doing it. So let's get started. The first thing you're probably asking and you want to know is what bag I use for my makeup. I'm fully aware that this is a pretty large bag, and you're like, girl, like, is that what you like take everywhere with you? Like, is that your makeup bag? It sure is. It sure is. I love makeup, and so this in here are my essentials that I use every day. This makeup bag is actually a Vera Bradley large blush and brush bag. You can go on her website and look them up. She's got a bunch of different designs. I've had this bag for about 4 years. I have never stuck this in the washing machine, so I don't know how this would hold up if I were to wash it. However, it's going into the washing machine this week, just so you know. I'm gonna probably put it on a gentle cycle and I will let it air dry. The reason why I'm gonna stick it in the washing machine is because it's cloth and it's quite dirty on the top handle. As you can see, all of the makeup stains on the rims, on the edges, on the bottom corner where I've had to, you know, just set the bag down. The camera's not gonna pick up on everything, but I see the stains and I don't want them there. But yeah, the reason why I chose this makeup bag over any other makeup bag is because of the compartments, which you're about to see. So let me open the first zipper, which is one of the main selling points of this bag. So for the longest time before I had this bag, I used to have two makeup bags. I used to always carry one for my brushes and one with my actual makeup in it. This helped me condense everything together, and you're about to see how dirty it is, so don't judge me. This is the first compartment right here, and there's this plastic flap which is super dirty, actually so dirty that it prevents you from seeing the brushes clearly. When you flip it back, you have slots for your brushes, and they're all different size slots, so you can fit different size brushes. So technically our powder brushes for our faces are thicker in width on the handle than like our eyeshadow brushes. So these little brush slots come in different sizes in here. There's like a variety of sizes, so you can fit all of your makeup brushes. My favorite part about this is this flap. This plastic flap flips over the brushes so that your brushes keep from contaminating any other part of the bag. And when your bag is open, it prevents from your brushes getting like any sort of dirt in the air onto the brushes. And you're kind of like, but girl, that is so dirty that it kind of defeats the purpose of even having it. Yes, I know, but I'd rather it be dirty with makeup than have it just open, getting constantly dirty with everything that I touch and have to touch this bag. It's, in my mind, it's a separate type of germ. So I know I'm delusional, it happens. The other section here is a plastic zipper that you just unzip, and in this compartment I have my part of my eye makeup. So eyebrow, mascara, and that's it. I just keep my eyebrow, eyeliners, mascaras in this compartment. And so let me go ahead and show you what I have. So the first thing in here is the YSL Vinyl Couture mascara. This is a sample version. This is what I've been using lately. You guys know I'm constantly rotating my makeup, and I've made it a point in 2020 to use up all of my samples because I don't want them to get old, and they're free. So the next item in here is my Chanel Intense Eye Pencil in number 69 Clair. You guys have seen this 1,000 times. This is what I use on my waterline every day. The next item that I have in here would be the Benefit Brow Spoolie. And I keep it in its little zippy thing because, you know, the eyebrow powder and stuff is very dark, and I try not to keep it as clean as possible. But it's just the little Benefit Brow Spoolie that I use when I am not using darker shades. So right now I've been using the Tom Ford Pretty Baby palette. Those colors tend to be a bit dark and they wash out my eyebrow hair sometimes. So I can't get away with just using the spoolie and brushing out my eyebrows. I have to use some eyebrow gel to bring a little bit of life back into my eyebrows. And yes, I do keep the little plastic tube it comes in to protect the bristles of the spoolie. All right, next product would be my Chanel Eyebrow Gel. This is in number 370. This is what I'm currently using for my brows. I also have a sample version of the Mascara La Base. This is the Chanel eyeshadow primer. It's just this white. It used to be white. It now has a bunch of black stuff in it because, you know, you're doing your eyeshadow gets on your eyelashes. You swipe this through, which is like a white formula. Eventually, it's gonna get dirty. So I've been using this. I'm actually almost done with this so I can move on to another sample because I have like another sample of this. And I also have my Clarins 4 all-in-one pen, and this has 3 eyeliners and 1 lip liner. So that's the lip liner. It's that beautiful nude color, and then you've got a black, brown, and blue eyeliner. If you guys have not tried this all-in-one pen from Clarins, oh my gosh, it is so convenient, so awesome that you get all of those colors. Also, it really takes me back to like the 90s when we all had these multicolored pens in our like little pencil cases, and you can just switch colors as you were writing. I really love this. This is definitely gonna be a repurchase for me because you get so much product for the price. All right, now let's move on to brushes. In case you guys are wondering what brushes I have in here, I have my Real Techniques brush 402, which is the setting brush. This brush I use to apply my highlight on my cheekbones. The next brush I have in here is my Bareminerals Blooming Blush brush. This brush I don't use for blush, as it's stated on the wand here. I actually use this to apply my bronzer. The next brush in here is a Bareminerals Flawless Face and Eye brush. This is a dual-ended brush, so on one side you have that face brush, and on the other end you have like a kind of like a concealer brush, but that you can also use for eyeshadow if you want to. I'm currently not using this side of it yet because I have no purpose for it with the current palette or, you know, makeup routine that I'm doing right now. But I use this brush to apply my setting powder after I've applied my foundation. The next brush I have in here is my Bareminerals Soft Focus Full Finish brush. This brush I use to apply my Bareminerals Original Foundation. This is a pretty large face brush, and this is one of my favorite brushes to apply my powder, loose powder foundation from Bareminerals. The next brush in here, which I'm not currently using, and I have to take it out of here. It's still in its plastic. I've had this brush for about 15 years. It is the MAC 266 brush, and I keep it in its case because to protect the bristles of this brush. I don't want it to like splay, like they splay out, or I don't want it to lose its perfect like form and edge. That's why I keep it in the little bag. I only use this brush for my black eyeshadow from MAC. I've had it for years. That's what I use to apply my eyeliner and sort of give myself a little bit of wing. I'm not very good at winged eyeliner, but the reason I use that with a black eyeshadow is because I find that black eyeshadow liner lasts much longer than a pencil eyeliner, and I can really intensify it with much more precision with that brush than I can with a pencil. Next, the next brush in here would be a Bareminerals Full Tapered Shadow Brush, and I'm currently using this to apply that topper shade from my Tom Ford palette. That's the shade, that's that shiny iridescent shade I have all over my lid right now. And the next brush I have in here is my Real Techniques brush number 300, and this is a Deluxe crease brush. I use this brush to soften up the edges around my shadow. So today's look is a bit different. I changed it today than what I've been using. I always have in my description box exactly the makeup I have on with what palette I use and how I use that palette. So in the description box below, you'll be able to see how I've achieved this look. But yeah, I use this brush to soften up the edges once I've applied my shadow, kind of like a blending brush. The next brush in here is my Bareminerals Dual Finish Blush Contour Brush. This is a brush that they came out with many years ago that has two different types of bristles. It was for a palette that they had that had a highlight on one side and a finishing powder on the other. And the bristles were different because you would apply the highlight with one and the finishing powder with the other. But really what I use this brush for now is, because I've already used that palette many years ago, what I use this brush for is to apply my blush. So, moving right along. Now we're gonna move into the big compartment of this makeup bag. Let's zip everything up. So the second selling point of this bag is the fact that every part of the inside of this bag has a plastic lining, this whole plastic lining. So you can easily wipe it down with a wipe and keep it clean. But here is the mother load. So this side of the bag opens up all the way to the bottom, and then you've got this thing that helps the bag from falling apart open, which I cannot stand, because you need something to keep this together so your makeup doesn't fall everywhere. So that is another reason why this is just a perfect makeup bag for me. The amount of space that there is in this bag is insane, okay? This bag actually comes in several different sizes. So they have like a medium and a small version of this bag in case you don't need such a huge bag. So let me just really quick show you the compartments in here. We have two mesh compartments on the wall here, and you've got two more mesh compartments here and here, and then you've just got a giant hole all the way to the bottom where you can just put all of your makeup. And we are gonna start with the items that are on the wall of this makeup bag. So let's start with the first little mesh bag here. So the first thing I have is a Bareminerals 5-in-1 BB Advanced Performance Cream, and this is in the color Exotic Lilac. This was a primer that I spoke about a couple of videos ago. It was a video that I made on how I rotate my makeup. And this was that lilac primer I told you guys inspired me to use the Tom Ford Pretty Baby palette. Even though it was a newer palette in my collection and it wasn't its turn, as because I usually go from oldest to newest. This primer, I had to use it because it was pretty old and I know that I could still use it, and what I didn't want is to risk the chance of it getting too old and not being able to use it. So I pulled this out and I decided to use my Tom Ford palette in order to use this baby up. Now there's practically nothing in here. like pretty much nothing in here. I'm pretty much just waiting to run out of the palette to toss this. I'm really using every drop of it. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. So the next items I have in here are the Bareminerals Blemish Remedy Concealer. This is in color Light. I don't use concealer to like brighten or anything. Just want to show you. It's like a little crayon version. I use this if I make mistakes like with my brow gel and I go outside the lines. I'll apply a little bit of this on my finger and I'll tap it over just to kind of erase it, because I find that it's easier to use and I just want that light coverage, because since I don't wear heavy amounts of makeup, if I use a concealer that's too high coverage, like the Tarte Shape Tape, which I have in here somewhere, it's too much. You can really see it. It doesn't blend in as well. The next item I have in here is a Chanel brush, eyeshadow brush, and this is number 19. This is the eyeshadow blender brush. This is one of my favorite Chanel eyeshadow brushes. Super soft. It's clean right now. I haven't used it. I do reserve my Chanel eyeshadow brushes for my Chanel eyeshadow palettes, but that doesn't always happen because my life isn't perfect. So the next two items in here are two Chanel brushes. One is the blender and concealer brush, and one is the blender and shade brush. So the blender and concealer brush is this dual-ended brush. I love the fact that they are travel size. This one is to apply your concealer, and this one is to blend your concealer. Sometimes I use these for eyeshadows because you guys know that I am notorious for reading what a brush is for and saying no, I'm gonna use this for something else. The next brush would be the blend and shade brush. This is the brush I have probably used the most. I really love the fact that you get both brushes in one. I think it's super convenient. I love that it is packaged in a way that no matter what you slip the brush in, because it's got these tops, the bristles are always protected. All right, so that's what's in the first little compartment mesh here. Let me put this back so that I don't have a mess on this table. Moving on to the next mesh in here, I have quite a few items in here. So I have the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in light neutral. I have probably used this twice, maybe 3 times. I find this concealer to be extremely heavy, and so I don't use it often. I also don't have, I don't know, in Spanish we call them ojeras. And oh my gosh, I have, like I don't have dark circles. There you go, dark circles under my eyes. And so I hardly find myself using concealer. Maybe I should use this to like brighten the under eye area. I don't know, we'll see. This concealer is so heavy that I feel like it can never get it to look natural. I have a Chanel pencil sharpener because I have the Chanel eyeliner that I use. I have my Chanel Vita Lumiere Aqua foundation in that compartment, which is a foundation that I've been using. It is not the foundation that I'm wearing today, in case you were wondering. It is that time of the month for me, and so I have had unexpected little blemishes pop out. So I had to use my Ultra Teint, which is a higher coverage foundation today. I have this one in there, and then I have my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion Anti-Aging Primer. So I know you're gonna start noticing I have duplicates of products in here. Like, I'm already using an eyeshadow primer, so you're probably asking yourself, why do I have this eyeshadow primer in here? Because I usually keep an extra of like things that are detrimental in your makeup routine that you should never be without. And that would be foundation, eyeshadow primer, and eyeshadow palette. Those are 3 things that I usually have a duplicate of because it has not been the first time that I have run out of something and then I'm fumbling because I have nothing to replace it with. So since I know that I'm running low on the original primer that I'm using, I go ahead, when I start to see that I'm running low on a product, I go ahead and I stick the next product that I'll be using in there in case I'm not at home and I've taken my makeup bag, or I'm in a hurry. I don't have to come back into my office here and rumble and rummage through my drawers looking for an extra primer that I need to use. So I just keep it in there for when I need it. It's up in its rotation. So these are just some Hoola Bronzers. This I'm actually the Hoola. I actually have it in here because I want to give it to my mother-in-law. She's got dry skin, and so I find that she's gonna really enjoy this bronzer from Hoola. This is just too dewy for me. And then I have a Hoola sample size Benefit bronzer. I haven't used this yet, but this will be the next one I'm going to use after the Too Faced Sun Bunny bronzer that I'm currently using, because in 2020 I'm using all of my samples. That's it for that mesh. On the other side, the other mesh in here holds my Real Techniques powder brush. This brush I use to apply my Geurlain Meteorites, which I don't keep in my makeup bag because I really like the packaging on that particular product, so I keep it on top of my like sink as sort of a decoration piece. And I have my Bareminerals ID On The Spot Eye Makeup Remover Liquid Filled Cotton Swabs. If you guys haven't tried these are amazing. I buy them at Ulta and I use them because when I mess up with like mascara or whatnot, and sometimes I get it on my nose, I mess up with things, you know, these already come with makeup remover filled inside, so you just break off one end of the cotton swab, you let the cotton swab on the bottom absorb the product. So let me show you in case you don't know. The one with the cotton swab with the blue line on it is the one you rip open, and then this tube has makeup remover in it, and you hold it this way once you rip it, and all that liquid will come down to the bottom. This will absorb it, and then you can use it to clean up your makeup. These have saved me so many times. The next compartment in my makeup bag is one mascara, which is the mascara that I'm going to be adding into my rotation once I'm done with that little YSL sample. This is a Victoria's Secret Heidi Klum collaboration mascara. It is purple. This is probably older than Dinosaurs. It doesn't have a scent and it still looks like it's in perfect shape. So I'm going to be using this mascara. This mascara is so awesome because although it's purple, it gives you kind of like a je ne sais quoi look when you put it on your eyes, where it's purple, but it's like a deeper purple, and so you can wear it with anything, and it kind of really makes your eye color look pretty. It just looks really nice. So we have finished with all of the mesh compartments in my makeup bag. Now we are going to move on to what's in the huge bag right in the center. All right, the first thing I have in here is a Bareminerals Ready Eyeshadow palette. This palette is a palette that I have as kind of like, I always have it in here. Reason being is this is a filler palette for me, and what I mean by that is Bareminerals many years ago created this palette that I feel that should have been added to their permanent collection, because it's filled with basic shades that we all use. So for example, when you use a palette, we all know that that base shadow brush shadow that you apply to the eyelid is usually the one that runs out the quickest, because it's the one you use the most. And so this palette is compiled of basic lid shades and transition shades and highlight shades. So for example, this cream shade is saving my butt right now, because when I show you my Pretty Baby palette, you'll understand. I'm pretty much reached pan on all the other colors except for that topper color. So I've been applying that topper color and then using this cream shade right here as a highlight, smoothing out the edges kind of shade. I've reached pan on most of these shades, so I've only got like 2 left, but I still get a lot of use out of this. And so these have saved my butt a lot, because they just are filler shades that I can use without having to pull out a brand new palette and mix 2 palettes, because then what I'm creating is an imbalance. And when I do want to use that palette, like for example, let's just, hypothetically speaking, let's just say I run out, I'm using the Pretty Baby palette, but I need an extra shade to highlight my bone, and I pull out my Viseart Warm Edit palette and I start to use this one shade in this palette until I'm done with that. Then when I want to use this palette, I'm already down 1 shade that technically goes with the whole theme of this palette. See? I know I sound insane, but it makes sense to me. And so that's where this comes in. This is a filler palette for me that I always have in my makeup bag, and that has really been very helpful for me. Moving right along, the next item in here is my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. This is the current palette I'm using for blush and highlight, and eventually bronzer and finishing powder, which is what's on the top row. But I've just been using these 2 corner shades as blush and highlight. The next item in here is the TooFaced Peach Blur Translucent Smoothing Finishing Powder infused with peach and sweet fig. I actually got this at Marshall's. It doesn't smell like anything anymore, but I actually wanted to try this product, and I saw it at Marshall's. I got it at a discounted price. Works just fine, and I'm actually using this instead of as a finishing powder. I'm using it as a setting powder. I like it. Looks great. I actually ran out of the other sweet peach setting powder, the perfecting one that you guys have been seeing in my videos lately. But yeah, the next item, the one that we've been talking about for probably the last 10 minutes, is the Tom Ford eyeshadow palette. So let me just show you what this situation looks like right now. So as you can see, I have reached pan hard on these shades. It's very difficult for me to get any more color out of here right now. And these 2, I just don't have, I'm not gonna dig. I end up messing up my brushes when I have to use them so roughly to try to get into the edge of shadows, that's not worth it for me because my brushes, I take very good care of my brushes. So I just have this topper shade, which is what I've been using. I've applied this topper shade all over my lid, and then I have used the cream color that I just showed you from my Bareminerals palette to soften up the edges of my brow bone and eyes. So I'm almost done with this palette, and because I see that I am quickly done with this, I have added the next palette that I'm gonna use. And I found this little guy. This is a Clinique All About Shadow Quad. This I got for free with purchase a while ago from Clinique, and it's time that I use this little palette. It'll take me less than a month to use this. I wear makeup every day, and that's just because there's such little product in these tiny little pans. So I decided to put this into my collection. Let me just use it up. I think it's perfect little neutral palette that I can just use and move on with, and still get my, you know, it was free, so I want to use it, and it's like that sample size like version, so I'm sticking to my goal. I'm using that. The next thing in here is my Too Faced Sun Bunny bronzer. This is the bronzer I've been using lately, and I have reached pan on this. The next bronzer after this I'll be using will be the Hoola one I just showed you, and then I will dig into the one in this palette. Next in here I have my Chanel, my favorite blush, the Golden Sun. I have this in here only because I never took it out, which I will now. But guys, I have used this so much. I just want to show you, like, there's no longer a dome over this. Like, there used to be a dome up here. You know how other products is like, they're like a dome? No, like I've used this so much, and I'm going to set it aside because they don't make this color anymore, and I really love it. So I really want to use up the blushes in this palette, and once I'm done using that up, maybe I'll go back to this, but most likely I'm actually gonna start using my Tarte blush palette. This was a gift from my friend Maria, and it's got blushes and highlights galore. So I'm probably gonna work this in instead. But yeah, guys, sad that they don't make this color anymore. Hope it comes back though. The next item I have in here, which now I definitely have to take this out. This is the limited edition highlight that I love from Chanel. I usually only use this highlight during the holidays. It has that limited edition red packaging, which we all know is to die for. And then when you open it up, you've got like the little blush. You guys have seen this highlight before. I've shown this to you guys. Let me just hold on a second. This camera is gonna be the death of me. So it's got that camellia embossed in it. This is a very particular eyeshadow. It has a very particular shade. It's very sparkly, very bright, and so I only tend to use this during the holidays, is when I find this to be the most useful with the eye and makeup routine that we all tend to use during those months. And that's pretty much it. That is what is in my makeup bag. Thank you for staying this long in the video. If you are still with me, I appreciate your time, because I know this was long. And you're thinking, girl, you carry out around with a lot. I do, and it's kind of heavy. I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't carry this in my car. This is just what I have in my bathroom, and this is what I stick in one of my drawers, and I take out every morning to do my makeup. But without all my stuff in it, you can see how huge that pocket is in the center, and it's all lined in plastic. The only thing that's not lined in plastic are these little side things. They're not lined in plastic. The mesh is not lined in plastic. But yeah, this is going into the washing machine after this video because I cannot look at the stains on this handle anymore. I just cannot. However, in case you guys were wondering, I am going to be getting another one of these because I think I'm going to pass this down to somebody in my family who may get a lot of use out of it. So I really want another color that came out. I'm very particular when it comes to the Vera Bradley prints. I really like Vera Bradley. I think it's a great brand, but I'm very picky when it comes to paisley like patterns. And there's this one paisley pattern that came out. I don't know if it was last year for breast cancer. I think it's called the, actually I have it on my phone. Why don't I get the right name first? How about that? Let's see. It's called Gramercy Paisley. And let me just show you the color of it. This is not, it's this exact makeup brush bag, but it is in the, here it is. Here it is. Eventually, I'm going to learn how to insert pictures into my videos and not have to use my phone to show you things anymore. But you know, one thing at a time. You know, editing is not the easiest thing, especially when you are teaching yourself, but we're gonna get there. It's a journey. It's a journey that we are all embarking together. You know, we'll see how long that task takes me because I am not technology savvy, hence why it has taken this channel so long probably to grow and so long to evolve, because it takes me a long time to learn new little editing tricks because it's just me teaching myself, and I do this as a hobby. So I'm a slow learner. What can I say? Don't judge me. Anyways, it is a beautiful gray and pink. Let me see if my camera is going to focus on this. It's a beautiful gray and pink bag. I really like it. Like I said, I've had this bag for about 5 years, I think. So this is like the first time they have come out with a version of this in a paisley print that I'm like, wow, I really want that. So I will be purchasing that. I'm just waiting for kind of like some sort of sale because I feel like $60 is a lot of money for a makeup bag. In my opinion, not that it's not worth it, it is, but I just hate when I buy something full price and then next week it's on sale. Anybody else feel the same? Because I do. I feel the same about it. Like, and with Vera Bradley, I'm subscribed to their emails, and so they're always having specials like 20% coupons and stuff like that. So I'd rather just wait for one of those before I just pay full price for something. But yeah, that's what's in my makeup bag. That completes this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And see you next time, guys. Bye.